Okay, we're going to go ahead and kick things off here because I know we have a lot to cover, and it's about a minute after the hour. Good morning, good afternoon to everybody attending the Seagate Synology NAS webinar. My name is Joshua Welty, and I'm Seagate's Global Partner Evangelist, and I want to thank you guys all for jumping on the line with us today. We do have a guest speaker today for our session, and we'll get to him in just a minute, but I do want to let you know that we will have Jason Bonoan, who's Seagate's Product Marketing Manager for the NAS segment, that's Network Attached Storage. And our special guest today is Markus Kohn from Synology. He is the Sales Manager, and he'll be doing not only a walkthrough of some Synology products today, but we're also going to get a very, very cool demo. So stick around for that as well. Before we get started, we do want to let everybody know if you are having trouble with the audio, WebEx does have a feature that it can call you back. So if you are having problems, you can reach out to the host, and we'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Also want to remind everybody that we are doing a drawing after the webinar, and the rules are pretty simple. You've got to attend the full webinar. You have to stay to play, as we like to say, and that will allow you to have eligibility for the prize draw. And the prizes are very, very cool. So Synology has graciously donated a DS216 station, so we are very happy to have that. And of course, we can't let that lucky winner walk out with just the enclosure, so we're also going to give that lucky winner a couple of IronWolf 6 terabyte drives as well. So very, very sweet. And we have Jason and team to thank for that. The other thing we do want to remind everybody on the line is that as a member of the Seagate Partner Program and an attendee today, after this session, you will get a link to the presentation as well as a recording link to the recorded video. So just a light housekeeping there. And finally, for those of you who do want to submit questions, and we'd love to have them from you today, you are all on mute just to keep the noise level down for our presenters, but we do want to hear from you. So please use that chat feature in the upper right-hand corner of WebEx. You can use that to send the host, which is me. Any questions that you want, we'll make sure to route those to the right person, and we'll try to answer as many as we can, but we know time is short for these presenters. So with that, I want to bring over Jason Bonoan, and like I said, Jason is going to kick off the Seagate part of the presentation. And Jason, I don't want to steal your thunder, but you got a lot of cool stuff. So let me go ahead and get you the ball and let you get going.
Thank you, Josh. Let me go ahead and share my screen here in 1 second. And everybody, you guys hear me fine, right, Josh?
Yep, you sound great in stereo, Jason.
Let me go ahead and share my deck. Okay, like Josh mentioned, my name is Jason Bonoan. I am the Product Marketing Manager on IronWolf hard drives, specialized drives for NAS enclosures. So IronWolf is one of the 3 in the Guardian series from Seagate, and Barracuda being that for desktop, and Skyhawk for surveillance applications. So today we're going to lightly touch on IronWolf HDDs and focus more on our new feature that we partnered with Synology on, called IronWolf Health Management. So IronWolf drives are built for NAS enclosures, and those are NAS enclosures that are in connected homes and in offices or enterprises. So there are 2 iterations of IronWolf, the standard version, IronWolf, and IronWolf Pro. IronWolf is built for home, SOHO, and SMB NAS, while IronWolf Pro are made for heavy user workload environments where commercial and enterprise NAS are used. With this, IronWolf is tough, ready, and scalable. So IronWolf drives are made to be always on, 24/7 for NAS applications, such as Synology boxes. So tough because it can withstand up to 300 terabytes a year workload rate for our IronWolf Pro drive, which also includes a 5-year warranty and a 2-year data recovery service plan. Our drives are ready with Aljo Array firmware for superior RAID performance, TLER, which is time-limited error recovery, and RV sensors that balance out any vibration that's happening with the drives within the NAS. And our drives are scalable, meaning we have a wide range of capacities to choose from and the performance you need. So at the heart of IronWolf is its firmware Aljo Array. So as mentioned, our drives are optimized for RAID applications, and algebra array is the reason why, because it provides the stellar performance, power, and reliability that meet the need of the NAS. So what are the differences between the two drives? It's simple. IronWolf is for connected homes, SOHO, and SMB NAS that don't need more than 8 bays, and IronWolf Pro is for up to 16-bay NAS enclosures that fit in medium and large businesses. Typically, those NAS are the commercial and enterprise NAS. Both drives have rotational vibration sensors built in them, mitigating any vibration from the drives, making sure you have consistent performance and reliability. So with IronWolf Standard, it's 4 terabytes and above for RV sensors, and IronWolf Pro, it is standard across the board for RV sensors. Both are built to handle multi-user environments with high workload rates to meet their needs. And IronWolf Pro is also built up to 300 terabytes a year, meaning you can push a lot of data through that NAS yearly. So for an example, if you're a creative professional, you're pushing tons of data through that NAS, IronWolf Pro is the best way to go if you're pushing a lot of data through that NAS enclosure, especially ones with multiple users. So in addition, we have rescue data recovery services. It's optional on IronWolf, and it comes 2 years with our IronWolf Pro drives by default. So our data recovery covers corruption, viruses, fire floods, and we have a 90% success rate of recovering data because the service is done in-house here at Seagate. And with recovery services, as you guys may know, that it's not an easy thing to fix or to recover. It could cost skywards of up to $5,000 easily to recover data. It's easily in a RAID enclosure or in a RAID setup. So it comes default with IronWolf Pro for 2 years. So before we go into IronWolf Health Management, I want to outline what makes IronWolf IronWolf. So looking at this, number one, algebra array is because it provides optimized rate for performance, the high workload rate of up to 300 terabytes a year, which I mentioned, the RV sensors that help mitigate the vibration within the NAS, and of course the next topic is our IronWolf Health Management. So what has came out of the partnership between Seagate and Synology, and what makes our drive even more specialty drives for their NAS enclosures is IronWolf Health Management. We work closely with them, and the result is this new API called, which is IHM, and it's being able to actively protect NAS with this new API. So IronWolf Health Management is available on enabled Synology disk stations, NAS enclosures, and what it requires are 4 terabyte or higher capacities above on IronWolf or IronWolf Pro drives, and the version of Disk Station Manager OS is DSM 6.1 or newer. This management tool is built into both the drive's firmware and algebra array and Synology's operating system and doesn't require any additional installation. Once up and running, you'll have access to the tool immediately, and it doesn't come at any additional cost. We will show a live demo shortly, but let me explain what it provides for you and your customers. So IHM focuses on 3 pillars, ensuring the user peace of mind with these drives. So the 3 pillars are prevention, intervention, and recovery. Prevention focuses on the user environment, providing any course of action that is needed to make sure the NAS experience is at its top level performance. Intervention, meaning IHM looks at over hundreds of parameters of the drive and if needed, will recommend to back up ahead to prevent any data loss. And our 3rd pillar that adds even further peace of mind is our data recovery services, which I mentioned in previous slides, which is 2 years with IronWolf Pro and an option in IronWolf. Through IHM, you could access recovery services when it comes to registering, and I will show you guys that here shortly. Looking further into prevention, IHM keeps tabs on the environment and usage conditions. So it keeps an eye on temperature, shock, vibration, intermittent connections, and signal integrity. So with this, if any issue comes up, it will recommend any preventative measures. Intervention is an adaptive algorithm that looks at data transfer, performance, readability, writability, and basically overall the reliability of the drive. In this case, IHM will recommend for further diagnostics with SMART and backup if necessary. So next is the recovery, and this is like insurance against catastrophic loss. So IronWolf provides an option to purchase a data recovery service through DSM and IHM, as you can see here, and allows you to register your product. So let me go through here through the user interface, which is DiskStation Manager. And you can purchase the recovery plan here on our standard IronWolf drives, and it's only $5 for a year. And of course, we'll need you to register the product, and your drive has been registered. For IronWolf Pro, through DiskStation Manager, Synology's OS, you will go into here, and it's by default with 2 years, but you need to make sure that you register the drive, so that way you have access to the recovery services when those rainy days do come. So some may ask, what's the difference between this and SMART? Well, IronWolf management actually complements and extends much beyond SMART. So as you can see here, SMART monitors 20 drive parameters, reports pass or fail, and doesn't keep a log or memory of the past trends that has happened to the drive. So IronWolf picks up where SMART isn't able to. By looking at hundreds of parameters, it provides notifications, reports any output code for Seagate to know what the exact issue is, and our support team will be able to help. It also keeps a log of trend analysis over the drive life. So here are some examples of messages that IHM provides for the user. This is all built into the management tool on the NAS operating system. So next, I'm going to show you a live demo on how IHM looks like on Synology's DSM. So I'm going to have to pass the ball to Markus here. Give me a second. Let me stop sharing.
All right, I'll go ahead and share my screen so we can go forward with this demo.
Great. So everybody, this is Synology's DiskStation Manager OS. It's a web-based operating system. I'm sure Markus will speak to it more. So I just want to go ahead and show you where you could access IronWolf Health Management. So Markus, if you could go into the top left, click on that on the main menu, and go into Storage Manager. So in Storage Manager, we're going to look at the HDD and SSD. So here you'll see that there are 3 drives installed, 1, 2, and 3. 2 and 3 are IronWolf drives. So once you plug in an IronWolf drive into a Synology DiskStation that is compatible with IHM, it will automatically detect that that it's a IronWolf drive, and you have access to health info to IHM. Any other drive, unfortunately, does not have that, but since our drive is a specialty drive that we've collaborated with Synology here, you'll have access to IHM. So Markus, if you could go into health info on disk 2. So as you can see here, the SMART test shows that it's normal, and IronWolf health status is normal. If you scroll down, Markus, a little bit, in the description, it's saying no diagnostics test is scheduled, or we recommend you run a self-diagnostics test. At the moment, like if it has been tested and there hasn't been any reported issues, but if there was any issues, it will give you a code saying, hey, there is vibration going on in the NAS environment. You will need to fix it, or else XYZ will happen. So it will notify you through this interface here to fix that problem immediately. Markus, if you could click on the IronWolf Health tab. And like I mentioned here, this is the normal. We tested it yesterday. It's awesome that it's normal. Test output code is 000.normal. So of course our drives are in healthy state here. And this is the area where you can actually purchase or register your data recovery service. And again, a reminder that when you're purchasing the recovery service, that's standard on our IronWolf drives, but our IronWolf Pro drives come with a 2-year data recovery service. Also, I want to point out, if you go into the history, Markus, you'll see that it does keep a log of all the tests that you have completed with the IHM tests. So you could have this you could have it scheduled weekly, every night, when it's downtime in the office. You could scan this just to make sure the drive is running healthy. That actually completes my demo of IHM. So I'll go ahead and leave it up to Markus here moving forward.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. Hello, everyone. My name is Markus. I am a sales manager with Synology, and I'm going to be highlighting a couple of the cool things that a Synology NAS can do, obviously with using those IronWolf drives as well. So let's dive right in. So I want to give everyone an overview of Synology, so we're kind of all on the same page. Synology was founded in the year 2000. Currently, over 70% of our employees are software engineers in Taiwan, where our headquarters are. We currently have more than 4 million units sold worldwide, and we have the offices worldwide to support that. So I am actually located right now in Seattle. We have recently opened an office in Washington, D.C. to help support the East Coast customers. Our headquarters are in Taiwan, and we also have offices in the UK, Germany, France, and China. So I do want to highlight some cool media we have gotten recently. In the Tech Target 10th Quality Award Survey, we actually were able to have the highest overall ranking in the mid-range NAS section. As you can see on the graph there, we beat out some very large names such as HPE, NetApp, EMC, Dell, and this is an award we're very proud of because it is this very reputable tech magazine, and we're very proud to say we did win in that mid-range NAS section. So I just want to give an overview of Synology. We're going to actually move into a hardware overview here, so you guys have an idea over how many products we currently produce. But the best way of starting that is by first explaining the naming scheme. So in any of our product names, the last two numbers in any of our product names indicate the model year, or the year in which it was released. So as you can see up on the screen, we have an RS3617XS, the 17 saying it is a 2017 model. To the left of that, you have the max number of drive bays it supports with expansions. So as you can see, we have the RS3617XS, but it is a 12-bay head unit. You can attach two 12-bay expansions to the back of that, giving you a total of 36 bays. From the left of that, we have the form factor. So DS stands for disk station, or a more desktop form factor, something meant to be sitting on a desk. And then we have RS, which are a rack station, or a unit that is meant to be mounted in a rack system. We also have DX and RX, which are our denotations for expansion units, disk station expansion, and rack station expansion, respectively. And now that we've moved all the way to the left, we actually go to the very end to see our performance indicators. So we have SE, J+, XS, and XS+. As you can see there up on the screen, those are actually in least performance to most performance. So we have SE and J, which are kind of more consumer focused, plus XS and XS Plus are more small business and business oriented units. So with that, I want to give you an overview of all the products we are currently producing. So as you can see at the bottom there, we have the J and the Value series. They're more consumer oriented, meant for more home use. And then from there we move into the Plus series, the XS Plus, and last the Flash Station. Those are all our more business oriented units and power users. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that we have units that can fit most storage needs, anywhere from 1 bay to 180 bays. So any sort of storage needs you're looking for, Synology can definitely satisfy that. So with that, kind of getting an overview of the hardware, I want to go into an overview of the software. So I think of Synology as a software company first, a hardware company second. The hardware is purely just a vessel for DSM. DSM is the operating system that all of our NAS units run. It is a Linux-based OS that runs on any web browser and is accessible from anywhere. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive into an overview here. So DSM can do quite a bit. It's a very intensive OS that can do, as I say, a little bit of everything under the sun. We wanted to highlight a couple of the main features. So we have both local and remote file sharing protocols, SMB, NFS, CIFS, all the typical protocols you'll see in both local and remote file sharing are compatible. We have many different backup and redundancy tools, which I will go into a bit later, both on how to back up your NAS to other servers and other mediums, as well as how to back up clients to the NAS. We are completely certified with VMware and Citrix for virtual storage to be used as a data store. We can be turned, any Synology NAS can be turned into a surveillance NVR for a full NVR and BMS solution. We have a collaboration suite available, so you can easily collaborate with coworkers on files and with a calendar and Mail Plus solution to go along with that. Multimedia storage is a very common usage as well, being used for audio, video, and photo storage. And last, we are constantly improving our security features to make sure that you as the consumer are comfortable with your data in our device. So we're going to actually move into a package center. So while DSM does have a lot of features built directly in, the way you can pick and choose those features is through a package center or an app store. So we have many different packages available for more business and power users. We have high availability, centralized management, VPN server, web server, the list goes on and on. We also have many consumer, media, and mobile packages available. So we have audio station, video station, and photo station to manage those files, and the mobile equivalent, so you can do that on the go. We also have many third-party packages available. These have been built for our platform and are then maintained by their development teams. So we have things like McAfee Antivirus, Elephant Drive, Docker, Glacier, just quite a few different packages available there as well. We currently have over 90 packages available on the package center, and largely they are completely free to use and free to download. So you can easily pick and choose which features you want to include on your Synology NAS and not use the ones you're not going to be using. So with that, we're going to move into a pretty common use case of our product, building a private cloud. So while Synology NAS makes it very easy to build a private cloud, there is always going to be some main challenges to it. You need to have remote access so you can access that data wherever you happen to be. Coupled with that, you need to have mobile access so you can still access that data no matter what device you're using. You need to be able to sync that data between those devices so their changes are reflected no matter which device you're accessing the data from. And last, you need to have the security and the data security that you know if the worst happens, your data is still available, it's still somewhere. So in order to best connect clients to a device from a remote location, we provide a free service called Quick Connect. This allows you to register a unique Quick Connect ID with your NAS that is much easier to remember than WAN IP or a DNS. This does not require any major network management. There's no static IP required, there's no port forwarding required, and is very easy to set up. How this works is when you make that request to view your NAS, it relays through one of our Quick Connect servers and then attempts to create a secure tunnel, VPN tunnel between you and your NAS. You can disable the relay service if you so desire. So if it cannot create the tunnel, it will not send any data whatsoever for added security on that side of things. So Quick Connect is by far and away the easiest way to access your NAS remotely from anywhere as long as you have internet. So while you have the mobile access and the remote access through Quick Connect, because it is completely compatible with Android and iOS and Windows devices, we at Synology think of CloudStation Suite as being the core of how to create a private cloud. So once you install CloudStation Server on your NAS, CloudStation Drive on your laptop, and DS Cloud on your mobile device, you can enable a bidirectional sync between all these devices so the changes are reflected when changes are made. So like, let's say you access the file on your laptop, made some changes to an Excel spreadsheet, and then saved it. When someone at the office accessed that file just via a mounted share, they'd see those changes that you made already reflected. So it is a syncing package that allows for that cross-platform bidirectional sync between files. This has many different management features available with filtering and selective syncing and group permissions as well, so you can very easily manage what you want to sync and who you want to be able to sync the data with. So in the last section, building a private cloud, we highlighted 4 main topics: remote access, mobile access, data sync, and data security. Remote access and mobile access were covered in Quick Connect, and last, data sync was covered by Cloud Station. But backup and redundancy is so important to data these days that we felt it deserved its own section. So we're going to move into how to back up your NAS in a couple different ways. So with this, we're going to be highlighting 3 different packages that are all free to download. We have Hyper Backup, which is a more traditional version backup utility. We have High Availability, which provides local redundancy of your data and hardware. And we have Snapshot Replication, which allows for on-device versioning and remote redundancy of your data. So we're going to start off here with Hyper Backup. So as I mentioned, Hyper Backup is a more traditional backup utility. This allows you to back up your NAS to a USB drive, another Synology NAS, an rsync server, or even a cloud provider like Dropbox or Google Drive or S3. This allows for a multi-version backup with cross-version deduplication, as well as a block-level incremental backup. With these couple different versions of backups, we also have many different customizable settings available. So we offer encryption both in transit and at the destination. We offer bandwidth control, so you can make sure you're not throttling your own bandwidth with these backup tasks. We offer compression, so you can make sure that you're making as much use of your storage space as possible. And last, we offer smart recycling for the versions. I do want to highlight that the Hyper Backup versions do not take up much space. If you look at the graph there on the right of the slide, with the traditional multi-version backup, each version that is taken adds more storage usage to that backup task. With Hyper Backup, the versions do not take up much space because they're taking just the necessary data and the changes. So as you can see, with the storage usage does not largely go up with Hyper Backup versions. So that's kind of how you do a more traditional version backup of your Synology NAS. So what about high availability? This is actually something entirely different. This allows for your NAS units to act as an active passive server in real-time sync. So this allows for an automatic failover with minimum downtime. This failover can protect you from crashed storage, a service error, power interruption, data connection loss, as well as many, many others. And typically the minimum downtime I've seen is the failover will happen within under 20 seconds. You can entirely use our full application suite and all of our packages, and it is fully virtualization ready. So I do want to highlight that when, if you encounter a failure and you're utilizing our NAS units as a VM data store, the virtual machines themselves will not crash. It does prioritize those services on top of many others, so the clients may see a bit of a hiccup or a bit of a freeze in the VM itself, but it will not fully crash, making sure that you guys have the most uptime as needed. So as you can see, when you no longer have a signal from the active server, it will then fail over to the passive server, and you will not have to change any IP addresses as well. It is a shared virtual IP between the 2 devices, so all your mounted folders will still be up and running. So that gives you local redundancy of your data and your hardware, but what about remote redundancy? That's where snapshot replication comes into play. This is actually split up into 2 separate chunks, snapshot and replication. The snapshots are more a point-in-time data status, while the replication is replicating these snapshots to a remote location to give you remote redundancy. So we're going to first start with the snapshot section. So as many of us know, human errors are far more common than a hardware error. Because of that, you need to be able to have fast versioning and self-service recovery. So us as IT people don't have to be bugged by people when they accidentally delete a file. They can easily just go recover that file themselves. This allows for an instant shared folder level snapshot, and it remembers the data status. This is also available on a shared folder level and an iSCSI LUN level as well. These snapshots can be scheduled up to every 5 minutes, so you can have extreme versioning of your data. And we offer a flexible retention policy, so you can easily manage how these snapshots are being stored on a very granular level. Lastly, this is fully integrated with Windows Explorer. So if you right-click and do the previous versions part of Windows Explorer, it will actually show those different versions there as if they were live. So with that, we have the second part of the package called replication. So this is actually where you're syncing a snapshot to a remote site, and this remote server has the exact data giving you that remote redundancy. So as you can see up on the animation here on the screen, roughly every 5 minutes you're taking that snapshot and replicating it to a recovery site. That recovery site, as I mentioned, has the exact data, so you have that remote redundancy. If something happens and your building burns down, you know that your data is secure on a remote unit. So with these replication tasks, we have many different relationships available. So we have the active-active relationship, where there are two servers. One is being used for the primary data for that server and the recovery data of server 2. And then server 2 is being used for the primary data for that office, and then the recovery data for server 1. So that active-active relationship is very useful in a co-location. We offer extended replication. So let's say we had a data store in Taipei. We replicate that data to Shanghai and then replicate that again to New York, giving you not only very high redundancy of your data in terms of hardware, but also geographically. We offer the hub and spoke method, where many branches can replicate these snapshots to a main headquarter unit, and also the other way around, the one-to-many relationship, where a headquarters can replicate their data to a remote disaster recovery site. So with that, we have many different tiers of data protection Synology provides. We have the snapshots, which gives you that instant snapshot and recovery feature. You can either do this on online and main primary storage. We have the replication side, the tier 2 of data protection. You can replicate your data to another Synology NAS that allows for that kind of rapid recovery of your data. We offer the third tier of data protection, or the backup and the restoration. So you can back up this data on a different storage medium or even move that data off-site. But this does have a longer recovery time. And last, we offer the ability to archive your data. So you have this long retention rate, and you can back up your data to a cloud provider. So if the absolute worst happens, multiple units go down, you need your data, you know it is safe in some cloud provider, and you can easily recover that back down to another unit. So with that, that actually wraps up my portion of the presentation. That ran a little bit quicker, but I'm going to go ahead. Josh, you can go ahead and take the ball, and we can go ahead and answer some questions.
You betcha. I'm sitting here taking a look. We've got a lot of questions that have come in. Markus, and thank you so much for your presentation. You know, it's great to be able to do what we like to call 1 + 1 = 3, you know, and talk about the solution. One of the things that has come up in some of the questions, and I'll just kind of scroll through them, is we do have some folks that are, they are familiar with Synology. In fact, one person had said that they've got a DS413J, and I think what they were trying to figure out is, you know, is the IHM feature that we're looking at here specific to what we've demoed today, or is that something that they could have on their unit, upgrade their unit? Just kind of talk a little bit about, you know, some of the current install base, how they could actually get access to this feature.
Yeah, no problem. So as long as you're updated to the most recent version of DSM and your unit can upgrade to that point, you will have this feature from IHM. So as long as you have DSM 6.1 and the most recent version of that, and you can upgrade to that point, you should be good to go. This is completely built into DSM, the IHM, and all you need to make it happen is a couple IronWolf drives from Seagate. That's basically all it comes down to, is just making sure you have a unit that can fully upgrade to the newest version of DSM.
Okay, great. And like I said, we have a lot of Synology faithful on the line. So a lot of great, just positive comments overall about the product and how they're using it. So I think this is really great. I did see one question that came up about the DSM, if it required any fees to use. That's actually a great question.
Yeah, so DSM is actually entirely free to use. So it's free to download. You can easily install it onto your NAS. And as I mentioned before, all of our packages largely are free to use as well. There's some that require some licensing fees. However, at least 90% of our packages are entirely free to use. So DSM is free. The packages are free. All you need is a Synology NAS and some IronWolf drives.
Great. Also, another question, kind of a different angle. Somebody asked, what RAID types can a Synology NAS use? Sort of more of a general question.
Yeah. So with any sort of drives, first of all, I want to mention we do have a great partnership with Seagate, and we do very much like their drives. But as you saw in the demo there, we are compatible with other drives as well. But I do always recommend Seagate drives for that IronWolf health management. Definitely worth it. But in terms of RAID types, we offer all the main RAID types, RAIDs 5, 6, and 10, as well as a couple of our own proprietary RAIDs with something called SHR. SHR allows you the ability to have different capacity drives, and it utilizes the most storage space available. So if you kind of have drives laying around, maybe a 2 terabyte here and a 1 terabyte there, you can plug those into the same unit, and it will create a RAID array and be able to utilize the most amount of storage possible. So all the typical RAIDs, as well as a couple of those proprietary ones. Got it. Got it. Yeah, you definitely piqued the interest of the crowd. I know one question has come in, just kind of clarifying the IronWolf Health Management feature. Is it sitting? This may be a question really more for Jason, but is that feature sitting on the IronWolf drive itself or within the Synology hardware, or is it kind of a combination of the two?
It's a combination of the two with Azure Array firmware and the DSM itself, the Station Manager.
Got it. Yeah, we have a lot of acronyms flying around this morning. We have to apologize to everybody if
we love our
need to spell things out. Yeah, I know. Everybody's got to keep us honest on this, right? Especially in the technology realm. And I think for you, Jason, along the same lines, folks are wondering if they need to install any additional software to get IHM. Just sort of an overall question.
No, no, they do not need to install any additional software. They just need to make sure that the Station Manager DSM is up to date to being DSM 6.1 or newer, and it has the IronWolf Pro or standard versions of 4 terabyte and above, and that's all you have to do. You just need to make sure that the stations are enabled for it. So there's no additional cost to IHM as well. The Station Manager, I believe there's no additional cost. Markus, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is no additional cost for licensing. Everything is ready to go. All you have to do is just plug in the drive. It'll automatically detect that this is a IronWolf drive, and you have access to that feature.
Great. And you probably covered this, but I think it's just good to kind of turn up the contrast a bit on it. Is we do have a question about which drives in general will work with IHM. We've got IronWolf, IronWolf Pro, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. They both cover it. You just have to make sure they are 4 terabyte and higher. So for the IronWolf Pro, we're looking at the 4, 6, 8, and 10. For the IronWolf, we're looking at actually it's the both, 4, 6, 8, and 10, so for both capacities for both IronWolf and IronWolf Pro.
Cool. Now I have kind of a loaded question. This is where I ask the Synology guys to plug their ears, but we do have a question. Somebody wants to know if IHM will be available for other NAS vendors. This person probably resells, a number.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we started it off with Synology because they're awesome. But yes, it's going to be happening with other NAS vendors soon, so we'll definitely keep you posted on that.
Got it.
But I still want to say Synology is the way to go.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And the other thing, Markus, since we did kind of bring you back on here, someone wanted to know, not really a storage-related question, but they just wanted to know which IP camera maker is supported with the NVR function for, Synology NAS. That's sort of a generic question.
Yeah. So currently, we have compatibility with over 5,000 different cameras from 90 different brands. So it's really up to you. I know the big ones that I've seen are Amcrest, Axis. We have good relationships with them. So I always urge people to check them out. I know Amcrest does make quality cameras. Those are the ones we use for demos and whatnot. You can go Axis as well. But there's a lot of different vendors out there. As long as they're on our compatibility list or on VIF compatible, that should be definitely good to go. As I said, over 5,000 cameras currently. So it's really difficult for me to narrow it down. But Amcrest and Axis are two very good vendors, and they make quality cameras. Those are the two off the top of my head.
Great. 5,000? That's it? Man. You guys got to pick it up a bit.
Yeah, we have also 2,500 drives.
There we go. I'm just kidding you. Hey, the other question that came in, Markus, is can you use high availability over WAN?
So you cannot. So high availability requires the units to be connected in a heartbeat connection. So it's actually just an Ethernet cable plugged into one port on each of them. So you can have it a longer distance with a longer Ethernet cable, but you're going to experience some weird latency issues in there if it's too long. But the units do need to be directly connected.
Okay, great. And then this is a question, I'm not sure about this question, but I hope you do. Somebody wanted to know, why would you use hyper backup over snapshot replication?
So that would really come down to use case. If you're more looking for a more traditional versioned backup over kind of a snapshot and the quick restoration. So it's really on how you want to manage those backup tasks. Hyper backup is great as it just gives you that kind of traditional version backup that you kind of understand how it works. Snapshot replication is a little bit more restrictive in the fact that it's kind of meant for that point-in-time restoration and that side of things as well. So it really depends on how you want to set it up and how you want to manage those backup tasks. But they're both very quality, very robust programs, and you can use either. You can actually use them together, using hyper backup to a cloud while using snapshot replication to provide that fast version and recovery.
Very cool. Thank you so much. That's kind of the bulk of the questions. I know we can wrap things up a little bit early and get people out of here. I do want to give a couple of plugs here really quick, and then I'll let Jason do the wrap up. And thank everybody for their participation, both presenters and everybody attending today. I do want to remind everybody that the IronWolf product line is just one of the purpose-built drives that Seagate's been focusing on for a couple of years now. We do have others. If you are a reseller or installer that's really working in the surveillance space, definitely check out Seagate.com for the Skyhawk series of products as well. And we do have, for those of you on the desktop gaming side, Barracuda as well. But IronWolf is really our star when it comes to the NAS ecosystem, but just wanted to give a shout out that there is a portfolio of these specialized drives. Just depends on your business, your customers, your clients, and kind of what the use cases that you're going after. The other plug I wanted to give very quick is we do have a lot of folks from the Seagate Partner Program that attend our webinars, but then we do have folks who are not members. So for those of you who are thinking about joining the Seagate Partner Program, we'd love to hear from you after the webinar. Give us a shout, and definitely go to Seagate.com partners and register. It takes very little time, and you do get a lot of benefits, not just the typical sales training, but we do offer priority support. We offer product collateral in there in our partner portal that's not available on .com, and so on and so forth. So much going on in our walled garden, as we like to say, but it is a great program that we like to let people know about. It also will educate, enable, and we hope enhance your business with your clients. So definitely take a look at that. Before Jason jumps on and kind of gives us a final round, I do want to let everybody who's asked, if you have attended today's session, you will get a copy of the presentation. You will get a link to the recorded video if you want to replay some of this fantastic information. And then we've also had a number of people ask if the presenter contact info will be provided. It sounds like we've got a lot of folks who want to follow up, and that's great. We've definitely stoked the fire. So all of that will be made available. We'll send it out after the event. And then, Jason, I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing my voice. Let's bring you on and give us a good wrap-up here for our NAS webinar.
Sure thing. I'd like to say thank you for everybody for attending this webinar. Stay tuned for any future webinars with Synology and us. We're still working hard together on improving our adding new features to the feature sets, and not including just IronWolf Health Management, but more items to come. So that's it from me, Josh.
Great. Any final words, Markus, to the Synology faithful?
Yeah, so it's great to hear there's some Synology faithful in there. But yeah, Josh will provide everyone my contact information. I am the representative sales manager. I've been here for about almost 2 years now. Feel free to reach out to me anytime with any questions. I can always help out. We are as well going to be joining Seagate with these webinars. We're also working on hosting, coming up with a plan to start working on our own as well. So stay tuned for that. To kind of give an overview of some more Synology features. So, but yeah, thanks again, Seagate, Josh, and Jason for having me. It's been great.
All right, we appreciate everybody. And to everybody on the line, good selling, and we'll see you during the next session. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.